Hey YouTube, it's Katrina. Welcome to day 62 of The Orbit. Today I have for you another novella. It's The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Now it might look longer than it seems with this particular copy because the actual text of The Metamorphosis is only 42 pages long. Okay, it's this part of the book. That's it. And then the rest is like, criticisms and notes, diary entries. But yeah, Franz Kafka, he is a very interesting person. He was very pessimistic, and he died from tuberculosis. So, if you've read this book, I think that might have a little bit to do with what happens, or how what happens in the plot of the book, because let me just tell you a little bit about the plot. One day, this guy, his name is Gregor Samsa, wakes up and he's a giant vermin. Some people say that he's a cockroach, some people say that he's a beetle. Gregor Samsa was a traveling salesman, and instead of thinking, okay, what am I now, and worrying about changing back to being a person or anything like that, he starts worrying about his job. He's wondering how am I going to be a traveling salesman if I'm a bug? So he's hiding in his room, and his work supervisor comes over at one point, very angry that he didn't show up for work, and so he and the family barge into Gregor's room and see him freak out. Then they run out, and the rest of the text is basically about how his family treats him and what happens. I don't want to give away the ending. Yeah, I don't need to give away the ending. So this book is essentially about identity and, I would say, family, sickness, and metamorphosis, transformation. It shouldn't be taken literally, It should be taken poetically. And on the back, actually, there's this quote by Elias Canetti, who was a Nobel Prize-winning author, and he said, "In The Metamorphosis, Kafka reached the height of his mastery. He wrote something which he could never surpass, because there is nothing which the Metamorphosis could be surpassed by. One of the few great, perfect poetic works of this century." It was published in 1915. Kafka passed away, and then after his passing, actually, most of his works started coming out. Now, there's actually a lot of references in pop culture to the Metamorphosis, and if you remember the movie or saw the movie District 9, that had a lot of the Metamorphosis in it, I think, although I think that there's a lot more to that movie. People are back with Slurpees. I go, wow, it's big. And then Mackenzie turns around and goes, ah. I have a big gulp. Watermelon lime. It's always Slurpee time. One last thing that I want to say about the Metamorphosis is that it was originally German. It's a German book. Sorry. It's a German piece of literature, and because of that, when it's translated into another language, there are some things that get lost along the way, get lost in translation, especially the structure of the sentences. There's some ways in the German language, there are ways that you can write things that wouldn't make any sense if you translated it into English the same way. Let me read to you the first sentence of the English version. La la la. When Gregor Samsa woke up one morning from unsettling dreams, he found himself changed in his bed into a monstrous vermin. But that's my book review for today. When you read the book, think about it, as a giant metaphor. Think about it, how Kafka might have meant it. I'll see you tomorrow on day 63. If you have read the Metamorphosis or saw District 9 or have to read the Metamorphosis, as it's widely read in colleges and universities, leave me a comment below. Tell me what's your thoughts on this piece of Kafka's work. Bye, guys.